Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Connie Green. Welcome to Wisdom Tips. I am so excited to be on this broadcast tonight, and I am excited that you're here to join us. You didn't have to be here, but you are, and I'm excited about it. Again, I'm your host, Dr. Connie Green, here on Wisdom Tips. I'm here to drop pearls of true wisdom, giving you tools that you need to live a victorious life. All right, you ready to roll? We're going to talk about a very exciting topic tonight, and I think it's very important. So you might want to share this broadcast with someone because what the topic that we're talking about tonight is so exciting and so important, and this is a topic that we all need to learn how to do so we can leave a heritage to our children. All right. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And today's topic is wisdom to keep legacy. Wisdom to keep a legacy. Amen. Let me say that again. Wisdom to keep a legacy. So what is legacy? Legacy is a long lasting impact of events that happen in life. It could be an action. It could be something that took place, or it could be a person, a person's life, the life that they live. And whether you realize it or not, we all leave a legacy. Yeah. Believe it or not, we all leave a legacy. If you're alive on this earth today, you're going to leave a legacy. Your legacy can be honorable, it can be positive, or your legacy can be disgraceful, or it can be negative. Our legacy is up to how we live. So I'm going to ask you a question. How are you living? Are you living a good legacy to leave to your children? Come on, let's talk about it tonight. Okay, let's look again. Legacy can be focus on something that you want to endure, something that you want to attain. It's all about passing down things, something that's going to last, something that is valuable, to those that we love, those that are still living now. And we want to make sure that they have the best that they can have when we're gone. Legacy involves living intentionally, aiming to build into the next generation their success. That's basically what it's all about. So we need to stop just thinking about ourselves. We need to think about the children that we're going to leave here, grandchildren we're going to leave here, and people that we love. So we want to make sure that we do the right thing so they can have some great success. So, what are some of the proper ways to leave a legacy? Number one is leaving financial security. That's a proper legacy that most people think that's the only thing that you need to leave is money. But you know what? You also can leave values that can be passed down, values that your family use, values that your grandparent use, values that your people that was down from generation to generation, left for you, and now you want to leave it to your children. Also, the most important thing though is to leave wisdom. If nothing else, you need to leave wisdom, because if you leave, like, say, money, sometimes money doesn't last. They'll spend it, before you know it, and you're going to really be surprised, because I did some research on that, and we're going to talk about that a little bit too. So even the Bible talks to us about legacy. In Proverbs 13:22, it says, a good man leaveth inheritance to his children's children, to his children's children. Now check that out. In other words, to his grandkids. All right. And the wealth of sinners are laid up for the just. All right. So an inheritance is not all about money, as I said before. You can leave money behind, but without wisdom, you can lose it. I mean, the generation that's left here can lose it if you never train them about money, and so over and over again, we've seen it happen even in real rich people, and my researcher said it's estimated that 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation, and 90% lose it by the third. Wow. Why? Because generations, normally people don't talk about money. Because sometimes they feel like if they tell the kids how much money they got or how wealthy they are, that they end up being lazy, trifling, and just going to throw the money away. But I think it's very important that we teach our young people and those that are left behind the importance of money and how to use money. Also, it may be to the point that they feel like that they can't handle the money, so that they don't talk about it. So it's a shame that we don't talk about money. We need to do that, more of that, to teach our kids how to invest in money. I remember when my sons, my grandkids was growing up and they got up some of an age and they were able to open up a bank account, my son took them to the bank, showed them how to put money into savings. And so I thought that was very good on his part, because he was teaching them the value of money and how to open up a bank account. Did you not know some young people don't even know how to open up a bank account? Most of them don't know how to write a check, because we got everything now, by a touch of a button. So they don't even know how to do that. So it's important, I think, to teach those that are here that's left behind, because we want to teach them the right way to go. So when they pass on, they have learned from us. And then if you make sure you leave the right things to your children or your children's children, then they will have great success and hopefully they can pass it on. But God too, he was so interested in legacy that he commanded Moses to set up a legacy for the 12 tribes of Israel. He gave each one of them a piece of land. Every tribe had a piece of land that was set up just for them and their family, except the Levites. Now check this out. God promised that he would take care of the Levites, and their calling would be their legacy. Now, isn't that amazing? Their calling, what God called them to do. That's why we often talk about, what did God call you to do? Finding out where your place is in God, what God put you on this earth for. God put you on this earth so you will have a legacy to pass on to others. So that's very important. So you may say, well, I don't have money. I don't have a whole lot of money. We're not rich, but you can set up a bank account and you can start saving some money. You can leave it to your children's children, as well as leave a legacy of who you are and the importance of taking the ministry that may perhaps that you're doing even right now can be passed on to your children. Amen. When you build something great, then you can turn it to your kids, and then your kids can turn it over to their children, and then everything just goes on, just like, so that's exciting about that. I'm just so excited about talking about this topic because it's very important to all of us, and Moses turned his leadership over to Joshua. He left a legacy. He called Joshua. He gave it to him. He gave him a wealth. He gave him wisdom. So, it's very important. Let's look and see what the scripture says in Joshua. Joshua chapter 4, 21, 22, it says, and he spake unto the children of Israel, saying, when the children should ask their fathers in the time to come, saying, what meaneth all these stones? You remember, if you know the story, how they had the stones, in the water, and they had to walk over on the stones. And he said the kid's going to ask them, what means these stones? And then, they're going to be asking questions. So when they ask these questions, let the children know, saying, this is what the Bible said, let the children know, saying, Israel came over this Jordan on dry land. So isn't that exciting? So I just want to encourage you tonight, leave a legacy to your children and your children's children. Okay? That's very important. So we're going to go to break now. And while we're in break, I want you to stay with us. But while we're going to break, please share, because you don't want to miss this broadcast tonight, because we got a special guest that's coming. And please don't forget to hit the notification buttons, and because we're going to be uploading new content, and we want you to make sure you don't want to miss an episode. All right. So don't forget, share. And we really want to thank you guys for allowing me to be over 500 subscribers already. And I'm trying to get to 1,000. So thank you so much for your love and your support of the Wisdom Tips Show, for doing all that you can to see that this broadcast is successful. So again, we want to thank you very much for joining us, and please stay with us. We're getting ready to go to the commercial, but when we come back, we got some important person that we want you to meet, and we're going to be really just telling you some wonderful things about what we can do to set a legacy for our children's children. Thank you. I'll see you in segment 2.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson. Join me on Sunday, January 15th, as I host Justice Sunday service around the clock at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you there.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, and I want to share with you about CTR Media Network. Have you heard? CTR Media Network is a new standard of podcasting with over 30 plus podcasters. We reach 350 million global listeners worldwide in over 50 plus countries across all major podcasting and social media platforms. We have featured over 1,000 guests. What we specialize in is helping business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and fellow podcasters expand their visibility on our platform. We're all about positioning with visibility, connections, and teaching you how to monetize what you do. Let me tell you something. If you're a business owner, we have sponsorships opportunities. We have commercial slots. We also have opportunities for you to be a featured guest on any of our shows. So what are you waiting for? CTR Media Network is who we are, and this is where you need to be. So go to ctrmedianetwork.com and click our store feature so that you can see which opportunity fits your life and your budget so that we can get started working with you today.
Welcome back to Wisdom Tips with Dr. Connie Green. We've been talking about today wisdom to keep a legacy. Now, if you are just tuning in to us, we again have been talking about legacy, and we're so excited to have you here today. And please share, and tell more people that we're on the broadcast talking about legacy. Now, I'm so excited to introduce you to someone, a young man that I'm so excited to have today, that I've been doing all I can do to live a great legacy. He's an author, a speaker, trainer, coach, and preacher, a husband, and a father. At this time, I would like to introduce to you some and others that know him, my son, Roger Green Jr.
Hey, Ma.
Hey, welcome to Wisdom Tips, son. How are you tonight?
What do I owe the honor of being on the world-renowned show Wisdom Tips? I'm just so grateful and honored to be here, and just excited about what you're doing with Wisdom Tips. Listen, if you all haven't shared this broadcast, you need to share it. I know I might be a little partial, but I'm telling you, this is great content, and I couldn't be more proud of what you're doing on Wisdom Tips.
Well, thank you so much, son. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. I don't know how well I did on this segment, but I know you got some good stuff to tell us. What are your thoughts about legacy? You know a lot about legacy. As a matter of fact, you're working with a group of people right now trying to keep the legacy in the Black community. And so I'm so excited and so proud of you and the things that you're doing in our community. So what are some of your thoughts of the importance of us having a great legacy for our people?
I guess I'm a living, breathing billboard for legacy tonight as you talk about it, because I literally would not be here without you and the strides that you've made, as well as my father have made. And I'm just honored. I think legacy is highly important, because legacy is a way for us to pass down things, as you mentioned, good or bad. But in the case of my life, it's been good. It's been legacy that I can truly say has been intentional, has been strategic, has been purposeful. Since the time of my youth, I can see now that I'm older and now that I'm a father of things that you and dad did intentionally, whether it's financial literacy, whether it's making sure I had a proper education, not just a proper schooling, but a proper education. And so even though I went to secular schooling, you all taught me at home. And you would teach me things about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Fannie Lou Hamer and, Rosa Parks and, Sojourner Truth and Frederick Douglass and Benjamin Banneker. And, I can go on down the list of legacy that you kept. And that's just within our African diaspora. But you also gave me legacy of biblical knowledge. You taught me the word of God. You instilled a legacy of prayer and fasting and consecration and holiness with me that is invaluable. I didn't always want to do it back then when I was younger, but I understand the value of them now. And so I appreciate the well-rounded aspect of it. And so for anyone out there that may perhaps be saying, well, I'm not rich, I can't leave my kids money. Listen, investing time in your family is invaluable. Being able to have those memories, those things that they can look back on and cherish, sometimes is worth more than money. In fact, if you teach your kids certain principles and certain values, they can learn how to obtain wealth themselves. And so I appreciate what my parents have taught me. Perhaps they may leave a little money when they leave, but if they don't, they've trained and taught me on how to get my own fish. The old African proverb says, something to paraphrase, instead of giving you a fish, it's more profitable to teach you how to fish. And so that's all what legacy is about. So I appreciate you for that one.
Well, thank you so much. I would like to also ask you, why do you feel that legacy is so important, and why is it so important and meaningful for the African American community?
Wow.
I remember when you were growing up, we had the opportunity to bring Rosa Parks to our school, and the children were able to meet her. You were personally able to meet her, and we were able to spend time with her. And we actually was one of her guests that was chosen to actually drive her to where she needed to go to the events that she went. So we really was able to eat dinner with her and sit down and let her pour into us. And you would all of those things, as well as the students at our school. So how did that affect you as well? So the first question is, why do you think it's important, and why do you think it's important and meaningful for the African American community? How did it make you feel when you met Rosa Parks?
I'll try to answer those in that order. First, I was blown away when I met Rosa Parks, Miss Parks, because from someone from my age group. I know my father's age group, and I see him in the comments. He says, "Dad is watching too. Great content," and so he's in there as well. But I know within his age group and your age group, you lived throughout the civil rights movement, and so those individuals were not necessarily as larger than life as they are for possibly my generation and other generations, because we were a generation removed from that. So to think that I could possibly meet a Rosa Parks was never on my agenda growing up. It was just almost like this mythical creature, this hero that you could only think about and dream about and aspire to be like. And so when we met her, I was totally blown away. I've had the opportunity in my life to meet, a lot of heads of state, senators, congressmen, presidents, different individuals, celebrities. But I don't never normally get too starstruck, but I was in awe of her because she had this quiet strength about her that she was able to kind of pass down. She was up in years when we met her, but the wisdom that she emitted was immaculate. Just for her to tell her perspective and share her wisdom, I think was invaluable. And so the second question that you ask is, why is it so important? I believe it gives us a sense of belonging. It gives us a sense of identity. It gives us an opportunity to learn from the lessons that have already been lived out. And so instead of us trying to recreate and duplicate the wheel, sometimes it's important for us to hear out those that have lived life before us. And so I think it's tremendously important within the African American community, because there is a legacy that has been written about us that isn't always true. And to quote some of the words of the late great Dr. Martin Luther King, he said, "It's time to get the language right." Because there's a lot of language, a lot of things that are being said about us. He said, when people say black, it's synonymous with being sinister. It's synonymous with being something faulty, something, not up to par. When we say something white, it typically is pure. It is wholesome. And so he says it's time to get the language right. And so I think when we get that language right in our African American community, we have a sense of pride and realize that we didn't just start with the civil rights movement, but we started, thousands of years ago as princes and kings and queens, and we were royalty. And I believe sometimes, for whatever it's worth, maybe, Mom, the reason why Black people tend to be excessive and gaudy, and it seems like even in our dressing and our music and everything is just always over the top, I believe it's because it's in our roots, in our DNA, in our blood. We're longing for that royalty that God created us to be. And so I don't think people realize that civilization began on the continent of Africa. And so there's not a race that's under the sun. And this ain't just to, it's not a racist statement. It's a archaeological statement, a historical statement that is just true, that is the Fertile Crescent. That is where civilization began. And so I'm very proud of the legacy that we have, and the legacy that I want to perpetuate, and make sure that our young people understand full well that we're better than just dope dealers and drug addicts and pimps. We have a rich legacy that goes and spans beyond us, and is something to be valued and cherished.
Well, I'm so excited for you and what you're doing, and the organization that you're a part of. And it's my understanding that you're one of the producers, correct, of this event that's going to be coming up on Sunday, actually called Justice Sunday. Could you tell us a little bit about the Martin Luther King event that is going to be aired on Sunday, Justice Sundays, and some things that you're going to be doing to help facilitate that program?
Absolutely. On January 16th, Monday, we typically celebrate MLK's birthday, and we will. It's an MLK Day of Service. But on the day before, Justice Sunday, which is January 15th, it's an annual event that we usually use to celebrate and commemorate the contributions of African Americans. And as my mom forestated, I have been blessed and honored to be a part of a governmental commission called the 400 Years of African American History Commission. And it is a federally appointed committee that is independently established by the Secretary of the Department of Interior. And this government agency, the commission's mission is to focus on honoring the resilience and the cultural contributions of African Americans for over 400 years in the United States. And so Justice Sunday, we have something called Service Around the Clock. It's going to start around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to go to 12 a.m. Going into Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. And it's going to be content from people from all over the country, some HBCUs, some well-known actors and actresses, musicians, people in academia, as well as people who are theologians and pastors as well. I'll be featured on there as well, speaking concerning civil rights movement, concerning the culture of African Americans and our contributions in this country. And so I want you to tune in to it. You'll see more information if you're following Dr. Green on her page, as well if you're following me at Roger Green Jr. or the real Roger Green Jr. You'll find that on my social media. You'll have Ernie Hudson. Many know him from Ghostbusters and all kind of things that he played on. And so I want you to tune in, because for that 12 hours, You can sit and watch it all 12 hours, but even if you can just get 5 minutes or an hour or 2 hours just watching this broadcast, you'll find out stories that maybe you never heard about African American history. And so let's face it, and I'll turn it over to you, Mom, and I'll get out your hair. Let's face it, there's not anything that is done in this country or within this world that African American culture has not touched. If you look at culinary, our food has touched every culinary span that you could think of. You look at our music has touched every genre of music. You look at our literature, Langston Hughes and many others that you touch that. You talk politics, you talk religion. It doesn't matter what genre you talk about. The African American experience has influenced it, whether it's the clothing we wear and buy, the music we listen to, how we worship. We're mimicked often because people value our culture. They look at our culture and want to learn from it. So I want you to be proud, and I want you to help celebrate, and I want you to have a watch party. Once you find out how to stream, it's streaming on an app called Smogo TV. If you go to Amazon Fire Stick and download that, or if you go to the Apple Store or the Google Store, you can download that app and simulcast it there. Or you can go to the Commission's website. That's 400 Years of African American History Commission website. It will air on there as well. And so have a watch party, take some pictures, tag us in it, using hashtag JS for Justice Sunday 2023. And let's have a good time and just celebrating each other. And that's all I got to say about that. I'm just so excited. So much can be said about it, but I just want to celebrate us as we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King as well.
Well, thank you so much, son. Thank you for joining us. That's so exciting. I'm excited about it. I know our church is going to be involved in it, and I'm just so excited about it and what you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wisdom Tips with Dr. Connie Green, son. Love you to death. And again, my son's name, in case I didn't say it, I'm going to say it again, Roger Green Jr., not to be confused with Roger Green Sr. All right? God bless you, son.
God bless you. I love you.
I love you too. Where did the time go, everyone? Where did the time go? Let's get to the wisdom tips, and I'm going to let you go home. All right? Let's talk about legacy and give you some tips to make you chew on and go home and think about. Wisdom tips number 1, live your legacy. Live it out loud. Why? Because children are watching what you're doing. They're watching at our lifestyle. They're watching what we do. So live your character, live your convictions, live your passion. All right. The most important thing you could ever do is to live out loud and let them see it. Okay. Wisdom tip number 2, live like you mean it. That's right. Live like you mean it. In other words, live intentionally, live right, engage this life with passion, gratitude. None of us know how long that we're going to live and how long God's going to give us time to live. But we can leave and live legacy and live out our life like we care, living in a way that honors the Creator, which is God. People will remember how you live more than they will remember the details of your achievements and your degrees. All right. Wisdom number 3, love your life. I can't say that enough. Love your life. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Every day you get up in the morning, love your life because you're alive, right? Even when you have nothing else to give, we still have love. Loving our lives and loving our loved ones, that, and being committed to them, it gives you enthusiasm and you get excited, and you living out your life in legacy just by how you love one another, just by how you give, just how you there and you show up for people's lives. All right. Tip number 4, create family traditions. If you think about it, we have family traditions for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter holidays. Why not have a family tradition that only you and your family do? Okay. All right. Family traditions will outlive you, building lasting remembrance. I still do things that my mom and dad did, even at Christmas and Thanksgiving, or maybe I was at my grandmother's house and I picked up some things from her. And so we keep doing over and over what our relatives did because they left that legacy, right? All right. Now, tip number 5, plan your finances, save you some money. Don't leave here and die and have no insurance and have the family members trying to come up with the money to bury you, get you some insurance. Insurance is one of the cheapest things you can get. That's like a savings account. And when you know, whatever the value is on the insurance policy, that goes to your loved ones when you die. So learn how to do those type of things. You'll be surprised the money that you leave behind that would help your family or your grandchildren propel to places that you would never even imagine. Plan your life before you die. Plan your legacy. All right. And in closing, like I always say, we ain't got no time for what? Tears or fears. All right. Why? Because what? Because having faith and having wisdom is the principal thing, and all that get an understanding. Why? So you can live a victorious life. I'll see you next week on Thursday, same time, same station. Join me on Thursday night, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we love you guys, and we'll see you next week. God bless you.